In the summer, energy lockdowns are expected, and the drama between Merz and Wüst continues here in Germany. And what really blows this wide open again, we have drones once more. So, shortly after what happened in Romania, now they've been seen over Munich airport. And in Romania, there are even speculations now that it was a false flag operation. And last but not least, because today is Saturday, Saturday's top news, what are you doing with our children? Tell me, can't you at least protect the poorest of the poor here in Germany? And you just close your eyes when they're not migrants? Shame on you to the core. If you want to support this channel, I would really appreciate a like and a subscription. Now let's take a look at the top topics and we'll dive right in. Energy lockdowns here in Germany.
Now, the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and the International Energy Agency are also warning about a fuel shortage this summer. If oil shipments do not return to normal quickly, there are risks to fuel security and the entire economy, they explained in Washington.
Not only are there heated speculations right now about all the reform fuss they're doing here, but also about the so-called energy lockdown. For example, yesterday NTV already reported that this scorching heat in Germany could cost 100 billion in economic output. Now this morning, an independent panel has issued a warning about it. If the tensions continue, we will have to do without it because other countries also need energy. That we will lose another 3 to 3.5% of economic output if the Strait of Hormuz is not reopened within the next 3 months. So another minus 3.5%, I think then we're economically dead, but listen for yourselves.
Currently, global oil reserves are being depleted at an unprecedented rate to compensate for the massive loss of deliveries through the Strait of Hormuz.
That's what the independent energy panel continues to say if there isn't an immediate reopening. Since consumption has increased so rapidly, or because it is being used up so quickly, we would see a new global economic crisis, where we would then be riding around in carriages and with horses again. That was basically the gist of it. It was an extremely long text, and I don't really want to read it all to you here. So, before we get to the big disaster, false flag operation in Romania, drones at the airport, I would like to play you another clip. And you follow the news just like I do, so ask yourselves, before you hear this, have you seen this anywhere?
Westphalia's Minister President Hendrik Wüst from the CDU has clearly denied rumors about a possible chancellor swap. He pledged his full support to Chancellor Merz, saying that the speculation of the past few days is simply nonsense, according to Wüst.
Yes, I have heard this news several times and I tracked down the source. That's strange. When it comes to Friedrich Merz, I have sources. I can show them to you. For all the other politicians, I always have sources showing that they at least said it, or maybe I found it on their X profile or somewhere else. So where does this news actually come from? Who even spread this news in the first place? Hendrik Wüst, apparently not. He didn't offer him his full support, but it seems that only came from the CDU party headquarters itself. And now please listen to a clip that just makes me shake my head.
I think that's not good for Hendrik West. He governs pretty quietly, and many people say, oh, in the West, everything is still fine.
Wait, stop, hold on. I'll give you a spoiler about what's coming up next. The West is not just North Rhine-Westphalia, and yes, of course, everything is just great in the West. Please just listen to this for a moment.
A group of men in Nuremberg is said to have made young girls addicted to drugs for months and then sexually exploited them. Alarm at Germany's train stations. The federal police recently recorded more than 27,000 violent crimes. Particularly affected are Leipzig, Dortmund, and Berlin Central Station.
Dortmund, for example, is in North Rhine-Westphalia. That's why I included it for you. I just wanted to mention that briefly. But we have other train stations here as well where things are also, I would say, getting out of control. Düsseldorf is one example. Frankfurt borders North Rhine-Westphalia. I know that Frankfurt is not in North Rhine-Westphalia, just so that's clear. And just some train stations, and even more, of course, the people here in the West, they are absolutely happy. Yeah. unless they're currently affected by the climate crisis. But that's something else. That'll probably come up tomorrow. By the way, this is the only video I'm making today. I'm just gonna enjoy the day a little bit today. Because the news wasn't that bad after all, except for the one that made me rethink things again. Where I really have to say, folks, you urgently need a change in political direction, and definitely not with Hendrik Wüst. By the way, just briefly, Hendrik Wüst definitely hasn't commented on whether he's behind this battle for the chancellorship, but let's go back to Nuremberg.
According to this, the dealers drove the teenagers between 13 and 18 years old into addiction, exploiting their dependency. In apartments around the train station, they were then allegedly forced into sexual acts.
13 to 18 years old, yeah, and nobody does anything. I'm a father myself, and in about 2 years my daughter will be that age. And I really have to say, for example, the Children's Aid Organization warned about this. The police did nothing. If child protection was really a thing here in Germany, why doesn't anyone do anything about it? Some of them were only 13 years old. Oh, why don't they do anything about it? Hold on, I'll play it for you again real quick.
Now there have been the first arrests. The suspected perpetrators are said to be from Syria, Iraq, Pakistan, and North African countries. The local youth welfare service had reportedly been warning for a long time about a development like this.
So, and who wants to tell me? Yes, I, as a father with a daughter who is about that age. And who wants to tell me that you can't see when a 13 or even 14-year-old, maybe even a 15-year-old is standing on the street? And above all, what kind of men do something like that? And if they are invited into any room for that, why don't the municipal enforcement office and the police check? Oh, right, probably again because of the group of perpetrators which has now come up. And by the way, as usual, we're once again in cliché territory. And usually it's the case that all sorts of things keep repeating themselves. Also, the groups of perpetrators, just now we had the 22-year-old girl tied to the maypole. And do you actually remember the story with the jammer? Yeah? Her plane had to stay in the air for an extra hour because she was supposedly buzzed by Russian, I don't know, ghosts or something, which later turned out to be a lie. Did you see those bombed out houses in Poland that were accidentally destroyed by European NATO fighter jets? You remember, yeah, all those operations, and now, just yesterday in Romania, the internet is buzzing. I mean, on the real sources, that it was supposedly another so-called false flag operation by, yes, Volodymyr Zelensky to keep pushing NATO into war readiness. And now just listen to this for a moment.
Munich airport was completely closed today after a drone sighting.
The federal police have confirmed the incident. A police spokesperson told Welt TV that they are taking the incident seriously and are investigating the background.
Okay, now let's be completely honest and straightforward. Yeah, the line was spoofed. That was at BEA airport, completely shut down. Yeah, no one could fly anymore. Then it was in Poland. Drones flew over Poland. NATO fighter jets shot up the house of a Polish person. You really have to say it like that. Münster airport was closed. Then more and more drones, or the war in Ukraine, you know, is turning into a pure drone war. After that, I think it was Berlin that was closed. That was about 2 weeks ago. Now, yesterday, a Romanian drone crashed into a house. Putin says, well, just investigate it then. And of course, NATO already knows that it was definitely a Russian drone. So, way down at the bottom, it was kind of mentioned, hold on tight, that the Russian drone was hit by gunfire and apparently somehow lost connection, so it just kept flying straight ahead. Let's just leave it at that, yeah. And all of a sudden, Munich airport is closed for an hour because of a drone sighting. Of course, nobody actually saw the whole thing. And yeah, if you want to wear down the public, you do it exactly with these methods, because at some point, well, then the panic sets in, and about these things, well, they just don't get reported on as much anymore. That's why I brought it up for you again.
A Friday meeting between the Conservative Bloc, SPD, employers and union representatives seemed to go smoothly, with no new quarrels.
The emphasis is on outwardly. By the way, I've been waiting for 3 days now, for 3 full days, for a survey that was promised to me. Where is the survey from Saxony-Anhalt? Why isn't the survey from Saxony-Anhalt being published? It should have been there 3 days ago. Good question. But now listen to this again as well.
Closing ranks because the problems from economic stagnation to the AfD's soaring popularity are so serious?
That can have a disciplining effect. It can, so to speak, bring people together.
It can make things better.
Yes, now that we've probably been attacked again by Putin at Munich airport, probably, maybe, or maybe not, maybe this operation against NATO has started in Romania. I hope you know that I mean that ironically. No one cares about it anymore at the moment, and that makes me pretty suspicious. Surveys are missing. The last surveys, well, I looked at the data. Something's missing. There are some inconsistencies in there. I still don't think the errors are there like that. And now entire surveys are being cancelled, just not being done at all. I've reported on this several times already. Whenever there could be chaos and at the same time someone shows a bit of willingness to reform, like Lars Klingbeil now, he approached the CDU and said, yeah, we'll work something out. Bärbel Bass has disappeared. I really have to say, here in Germany, surveys are now being withheld to prop up this federal government. I'm curious, in about 2 hours a survey should be released. I'll go through it with you tomorrow, but today I'm going to have a nice day because yesterday we had climate change chaos. It was super hot here the last few days, and then suddenly a thunderstorm hit, just like it used to in the summer. And now I still have to take care of the damage from climate change, trim a few flowers, and some tomato plants got a bit bent and things like that. So I hope you know what I mean. With that, I wish you a nice Saturday. Bye.